The Common Good Radio Show. The Common Good Radio Show. Brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Highlighting the good in the community. Hosted by Pastor John McClain, Tucson's favorite family show.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I am Pastor John McClain, here flying the plane solamente. So if I fall asleep, we're crashing. We are crashing. But I'm going to stay awake. I'm going to stay awake because we have an excellent show for you today, as I promise you always. But this would not be the Common Good Radio Show if I did not give grace and give thanks to a very loving Father that allows me to be here with our amazing guests. And I usually think with the Lord's Prayer that goes a little something like this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. And I'll say this to the associate producers that's off the screen. Martin, I stumbled on that part of forgiving those who trespass against us, because that's a hard one, man. That's a hard one. But I'm going to continue to work on it, because I know God continues to forgive me for my trespasses. I'm so thankful. But that being said, I want to introduce our listening audience to two amazing women that I'm getting the good fortune to get to know better and better as time goes on. And they're doing, man, if they're not doing God's work, I certainly do not know what God's work looks like, because as I've told on the show on many occasions, we had a 72-year-old Marine named Rodney in our program with dementia that literally I found with nothing in the park. And we were, blessed, took care of him by committee at our homeless veteran transition program for a year and a half, kind of got him everything he needed to get him squared away, so much that I got him placed into an assisted living facility myself, as if I was his own son. But if I would have found, this organization sooner, and I found, known these ladies sooner, they would have saved me probably a lot of time, maybe months, possibly years of trying to figure this out on my own, rather than getting with the professionals and having them navigate the navigator. Mm-hmm. So I say all that to say, welcome to the show, Kimberly Shara and Sophia Siddle with Arizona Choice Home Care Solutions.
Thank you.
Man, yeah. So as I kind of prefaced, certainly having you guys as assistants earlier in my life would have been helpful, not only with my buddy Rodney, but I have 96, 97-year-old grandparents in Georgia whom our family fumbled through kind of getting them into assisted living or just getting them assisted care. Now having met you, I realized we could have maybe had someone take care of them in their house for much longer than we did, but I just didn't even know. But explain to me and our audience, again, what is Arizona Choice Home Care Solutions and what do you guys do?
Yeah, so we're a home care agency here in Tucson. We are non-medical. Our main goal is to keep your loved ones at home, independent. I like to say that we're the bridge between independent living and assisted living. Mm-hmm. Using a home care agency can keep you at home for as long as possible. You thrive in your own environment, but providing in-home care, things like personal care, grooming, toileting, transportation, meal prepping, medication, really everything that you do on the daily, you have support, and that's what we do.
Nice. And I know, because you told me this month we have Caregiver Appreciation Day, right?
Yes.
Yes. February 21st.
February 21st. And so what would you say would be, and this is probably not just the February 21st day, but year round, what is Arizona Choice Home Care Solutions' role in supporting the caregivers with you guys?
Yeah. Not only do we support our team of caregivers, but we like to support family caregivers as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, gosh, Sophie and I were just having a conversation about this today about how we can support our community in that sense. And I think the first point would be recognizing that you need support at home. We provide respite care. So having a caregiver come and having your in-home caregiver take a break. So providing that and definitely acknowledging that you need help.
Yeah. Yeah, and we kind of we tickled on it a little bit last time we had you guys on the show in regards to caregiver burnout and how this is something kind of, maybe not spoken enough about, or particularly among the caregiver population, not something that they recognize within themselves enough, and therefore, there you are, you're burnt out by it. What is Arizona Choice Home Care Solution doing to help kind of minimize that or help just bring awareness to that this is a thing?
So we really want families to first acknowledge that it's okay to take a break. I think that's the first step. Is we feel like we have to put our all in, right? We 24/7 care. We're there to provide that care. When are you stopping to take a break for yourself? So we're really reminding families that they need to take a break and bring in, whether it's a family member, a friend, an agency such as ourselves, seeking out a day program. First step is recognizing that, and we're there to kind of point that out, kind of say, okay, when was the last time you went and got your hair done? When was the last time you went and took care of yourself? Those are ways that we get involved and point it out. It's easy to not realize as a family member that you're becoming burnout. You're not taking care of yourself until someone else points it out to you.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's it's kind of like delineation, or this transition point that you're speaking of is something that I'm glad that we have the opportunity to kind of flush out more and more as we have you on the show, because like you're saying, for the longest time, whether it was Rodney at our transition center or my grandparents at their house, we took care of them by committee, like as a family, whether it was our village at Veteran Rescue Mission or our literal family there in Georgia. And we didn't know how to wean ourselves off of us taking care of them, or that primary family members taking care of them, to how do we integrate a caregiver into that system. So I guess speak to that too a little bit. One, about, okay, how to make it so that family member doesn't feel so bad about their being burnt out and not being able to do as much as they're able to do anymore. And what does that process look like for integrating a caregiver into that system of care for that family member that they've been taken care of by committee for so long?
Well, just because you're recognizing that you need help doesn't mean that you don't love the person you're taking care of any less. So integrating that would be calling a home care agency, looking to see if, I don't know, Sophie.
So really we want, is a good question, but it kind of stumped me. It's hard. You said it, nail on the head. Families don't want to walk away. That first step looks like, let's just get you taken care of. We may not be able to address the pressure point of when you're most taking care of your family member. Let's say they need the most care overnight. Family member may not be willing to give up that overnight care for us to do it. Let's come in and do 3 hours of respite during the day. They're going to see that benefit almost immediately. I had a wife tell me the first week of services, I need to switch to nights because this is such a benefit. I need overnight care so I can sleep. And she just recognized immediately that it just takes that first step to get someone in there.
Well, and you kind of have that mentality of, I'm the caregiver, I've been the caregiver, I know what that person likes, I know what they do, I know their schedule. And to have someone, a stranger, come in and kind of take that over, I think it's hard to let go.
It's intimidating. Absolutely.
I mean, and it makes sense actually what you're saying, because even right now as we're sitting, I had to relinquish a few hours to the babysitter. So our 18-month-old, because she couldn't be in the studio with us while we were recording this show, but that integrating that process of having that babysitter come once a week, spending 3 or 4 hours with her, and not only can I come do this, but maybe I'll go stop at the grocery store, get a little time to myself afterwards. But it's tough, but necessary. So it definitely makes perfect sense how the first step is just making that call and
Mm-hmm.
seeing kind of, okay, where can it fit, and how does that work? And that being said, what number can they call, and how can they reach you guys to utilize your services?
Absolutely. They can call 520-900-8757. They can email myself, Kimberly, at azchoicehomecare.com, Sophia at azchoicehomecare.com.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
thank you again so much for joining us. And you guys listening, give them a call, check them out, have them come by, see how they can help you out. And definitely next time we get a 72-year-old Marine with dementia in our organization, that'll be the first call I make.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Kimberly and Sophia with Arizona Choice Home Care Solutions. You guys stay right there. We will be back after the break. Don't forget to wash behind your ears, because if you don't, that's gross. We'll be back.
The Common Good Radio Show. The Common Good Radio Show. Brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Highlighting the good in the community. Hosted by Pastor John McClain, Tucson's favorite family show.
Hello, welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I am Pastor John McClain, sans un co-host. It is just me, but I'm going to bring the flair, bring the flavor. I might even talk to myself a little bit so you'll feel like I have a co-host, but it's just me. But I do, as I promised, have another amazing guest for you today. We haven't had this gentleman on the show for a while, but I'm pleased to bring him back. His name is Kelly Thrush. He is with the organization Gratitude and Grace Foundation, and another amazing, ministry in Tucson that maybe you haven't heard of. And if you have, let's hear about it a little bit more, because they're doing some amazing work. And I definitely look forward to just hearing what you've been up to since we've last had you on the show. I feel like maybe like a year. Was it last time that you did this event that we had you on the show?
It wasn't quite a year.
Yeah.
We had a different. It was over the summer. It's
Okay.
been 8 or 9 months anyhow.
Mm-hmm. So for those who weren't listening then, though, Gratitude and Grace Foundation, fill them in on what you do, the origin, the whole hero story of the organization.
Sure, we'll
Yeah.
do. Well, thank you for having me back in. I
Yeah.
truly appreciate it. I had a great
Absolutely.
time last time too. So, Gratitude and Grace Foundation. We provide financial and community support for transplant patients,
Okay.
recipients,
Mm,
their
mhm.
families, even donors and their families as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also help folks with substance abuse recovery.
Mm.
And how that all came to be was, well, my story. 7 years ago, actually 7 years and almost exactly 1 month ago, I got very, very sick. Unbeknownst to me, I was in end-stage liver failure. And the short version of that long story is I spent 4.5 months in the hospital and ended up needing a full liver transplant as a result. And it was from years of running bars and restaurants and late nights and too much booze. And finally, my liver just quit. And I needed some help. And so over the course of that recovery, my wife and I really knew that we needed to give back, but we didn't know how we wanted to do that. And the problem is, or a hurdle, I shouldn't say a problem, but a hurdle that transplant patients especially have is it's a good year before you're able to go back to work or really start to feel like yourself again. But the bills are still there.
Yeah.
Folks still need to pay their mortgage or pay their rent or their electric or whatever it might be, and that's kind of where we come in. Not only with the community support and resources that folks might need for transplant patients or folks in substance abuse recovery, they can apply for financial aid assistance from us, and we can help maybe with those bills that keep on coming in, even though you may not have the income that you had just that previous year.
Yeah, it's all flooding back to me now. I have a traumatic brain injury from knocking my head too many times over there on the other side of the pond. But it's amazing that the work that you do. I mean, and I guess to speak to what did 2024 look like? Give me like a recap of that, and then we'll jump into this awesome event that you guys have coming up.
Sure, we'll do. Yeah, so 2024 was our first full year as a foundation. We started with all the paperwork and the hoops and the IRS and the 501c3. So 2024 really was us getting our feet wet,
Yeah.
really learning how to raise money, how to hold fundraisers, how to connect with the community, and get people involved. And that really was the focus for 2024.
Yeah.
And it went fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean, gosh,
amazing.
we've met so many people and built such a community around around G&G, which is what we call it.
Nice.
And it's been fantastic. And so we had a number of events last year. We were able to help, I think, 8 total families over the course of last year. And so this year for 2025, that really is the focus. We're going to continue raising those money and holding community events and having all sorts of different fundraisers.
Yeah.
But really the focus is now, how do we get to more and more families and help them with whatever they might need help with.
Nice. So that being said, you're going into, I'm guessing, what will be a big annual event that you'll be doing. Speak to some light to that for
Sure.
us.
So coming up, it's called the Tumamoc 10.
Okay.
Hopefully a lot of our local listeners especially are familiar with Tumamoc Hill out west of downtown. Oh yeah. It's a Tucson, it's a landmark.
Oh yeah,
right?
Absolutely. It's one of the easiest, funnest trails to walk into.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I love it. I spend
beautiful
so much
views.
time out there.
Yeah.
And the way this all kind of came to fruition was about, 4 or 5 years ago. A buddy of mine asked me, how am I going to celebrate my liverversary? Right, that's what we call it in my house, is my liverversary.
As you should.
So March is the anniversary of my transplant. And so he asked me, he says, hey, what are you doing to celebrate? And I said, well, I think I'm going to go run up and down Tumamoc. He says, well, that's a great idea. I'll come with you. That sounds fun. And I said, I think I'm going to do it 10 times for a total of 50 kilometers. He kind of took a breath and paused and looked at me and said, that's stupid. I'm not doing that with you.
Yeah, he's like, we were friends up till right now.
Till now. And so what ended up happening that first time that I did it is I was able to sucker enough of my friends into coming with me. So I had someone different every trip. So I wasn't ever alone that whole day. And we set up a little aid station for me. So I had peanut butter sandwiches and Gatorades and all whatever else I had down there. And over the years, this has now evolved into a community event. This will be our 4th year doing it.
Okay.
This year, we're actually teaming up with the U of A. And so we're going to have some vendors out there. Donor Network of Arizona is going to be out there signing up folks that need to register to be transplant and organ donors.
That's
me.
cool.
So they're going to be out there. We're going to have bibs, so you can kind of, it's not a race by any stretch, but I wanted something to distinguish us on the hill, because the energy that's built during that day is amazing. Because you get these other folks who are out at Tumamoc enjoying their Saturday afternoon, and they saw, especially that first year, because I wore a bright neon yellow whatever shirt with Tumamoc 10 on it.
Yeah.
And folks would see me going up and down, and then they ask you questions. Well, why are you doing this? You know, what are you doing out here all day long? And so the goal of this whole day is not to do it 10 times. I mean, you can have that goal. Some of us crazies do.
Yeah.
However, the goal is to do more than you think you can do, or than you have previously done. So if you've come out to Tumamoc before and you've gone up and down once, the goal is to do it twice that day. And you take as long as you need to, but I want you to set a personal best. We want you to set a personal best. So if you've been up 4 times in the past, we're shooting for 5, right? If you've never been, you got to go once. And so the way that it works is we'll start at 7 a.m. And we go every hour on the hour. We go up as a group. And so if you're doing it twice, take as much time as you want. You know, go up at that 7 o'clock one or 8 o'clock one whenever you get there, and take as long as you want to come up and come down. And then you'll start the next one at 11 o'clock or whatever it might be, you know, and take your time. Now, if you're going for all 10, you got to be down at the bottom of the hill, ready to go every hour on the hour. And then we do our last ascent at 4 p.m. Usually that one takes a little longer because it's the last one, and we're not under the pressure of the clock. So we throw a little party on the way up for that one. It's going to be fun.
That sounds fun. Yeah, we every year, actually this year was the first year we included people in it, but we marched for 35 miles from Ina and Thornydale to Ajo and 6, where the VA is. And it reminds me of something similar to this, where it's just like, okay, how can we get people involved and give them a place, whether you want to walk a little bit or you want to walk a lot. But not to get sidetracked, because this is just, it's awesome with this event. How can people get involved if they want to participate?
There's quite a few different ways. So the easiest way is to go to the website, gratitudeandgracefoundation.org. And there's a registration that we have there. And it's a straight donation to the event, or to the foundation, excuse me, for the event.
Yeah.
And that'll get you registered. There's also another way. We have T-shirts with the logo on there. You can purchase those for $25. So the registration's $25, and then the shirts are $25. And then that'll get you officially registered for the event to come out with us. And that way you can sign up. We'll get your bib, and off you go. We're looking for volunteers because we'll have aid stations down at the bottom and in the middle. There's a kind of a middle section. And then we're looking for sponsors. We're looking for a breakfast sponsor, a lunch sponsor, and then our T-shirt sponsor that'll have logos on the back, logos on the website, so forth.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So the main part you're looking for people to participate and walk. You're looking for different volunteers for different stations, and looking for sponsors.
Absolutely. Those are the three.
And then the ways that they can get a hold of you one more time.
Yep. It's gratitudeandgracefoundation.org. Or you can email me directly. It's kelly@gratitudeandgracefoundation.org.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining once again,
it's a
brother.
pleasure, man. Always good seeing you.
We have to do this more often.
Yes,
for
sir.
Sure. Yeah, let's not wait 8 months next time.
I agree.
Absolutely. So definitely go to gratitudeandgracefoundation.com.
.org. Yep.
Gratitudeandgracefoundation.org. Check them out. Definitely volunteer. Go check out the Tumamoc 10X. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm gonna be there. I'm
You
gonna
should be
definitely
there.
check it out.
And then
check it out.
let me
for
know
sure.
about your march across
Yeah.
the city there. I'm in.
Yeah.
I love stuff
it's
like
Veterans
that.
Day every year.
Perfect.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll connect. We're long past due better connecting. So
Agreed.
We will. But this is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain, as I promised, here with another amazing guest. This wouldn't be the show if we didn't thank our sponsors, Proper Villains, of course, for introducing us to Kelly. For Tucson, We Care Tucson, 100 plus guys who give. Tucson Tamale Company, Desert Sunset Realty, White Stallion Ranch, Piper Family Painting, Steamy Concepts, Donso Dust Landscaping, Arizona Choice Home Care Solutions, Marriage and Communications, CB2PGA, and Pep Inc. And remember, at the end of every day, it's night.